Hey everybody, welcome to Obscurities in Miniature. Today's video is going to be, well, some of these models might be some repeats you've seen before, but they've never been all seen together. I thought I would do a quick video on Lovecraft Designs' various Kickstarter models that they've put out. Lovecraft's done quite a few Kickstarters at this point, and one of the nice things is they've got one finishing up right now as I speak for the Frost series. So we have a very northern, icy, heroic fantasy style campaign that's currently finishing up. I do actually have a couple of sample models that were what they call express delivery stretch goals, which means they were just available to download as soon as they are available to backers. But I've backed a few of Lovecraft Designs campaigns at this point, and I gotta say, I have really enjoyed all of them. The way they've done their stretch goals is that they are very open-ended and they are completely open to backer suggestion within reason. So if you have a really cool idea, by all means, especially as this current Frost campaign is wrapping up, you're more than welcome to suggest it if you are a backer as well. So I thought I'd show off a couple of painted models that I have, as well as some unfinished ones as well. This is from, obviously, the Gladiator set. You've seen plenty of my brothers, and I thought I'd painted more from this set as well. But I guess I hadn't. I know I have a Sagittarius model that's been waiting to get painted. Now, most of their models I was able to fit on a 25mm base, but she ended up on a 30 just due to how wide of stance she's in. We've got a scissor type dude whose scissor unfortunately broke, and I had to replace. I think it's a scissor, but I think it works well enough for me. We have our Demercarius, if I remember the term correctly, who is heroically leaping forward, and I have absolutely no idea how I'm going to correctly base him when the time comes. I can't remember the dude's name from Spartacus that fought with the two swords in Season 2. Ganecus, that's it. How can I forget that, considering how many times my wife has watched that show? He is totally getting painted up as Ganecus. So that was one of the earlier campaigns. That was the first campaign of theirs I actually really followed, and it was right before I got a 3D printer, and I was so pissed off and disappointed I didn't back it at the time. But one of the cool things about all their campaigns is that they make a lot of them open during the Pledge Manager for just about the same fee, so I really didn't lose out on much. So if you see something from Lovecraft Designs that you're really into, don't hesitate to at least put some cash in on the Kickstarter, because there's a good chance you're going to be able to get those files when the Pledge Manager drops, if you feel that there's something there that you're really into. The very first one that I did back was their Vikings one, and so I had just finished the show, actually, at this point with my wife, who was really into it, surprisingly. So they had a nice mix of male and female models, some a bit more fantastic or TV focused than others. My Bjorn Ironsides, complete with fur cape. Just a cool, heavily armed Viking. I like this model. I felt he came out really nice. And one of the more recent ones they had was an Asian Adventures one. That's where this Oni came from. I'm quite fond of. He's one of a set of Oni. I have a few of the samurai actually printed, but I have not gotten around to painting them, unfortunately. There was also a Desert Adventure set. I believe that was the most recent one. I don't know if that's where this barbarian dude came from. But as promised, here is one of the sample models from the current Frost campaign that was available to backers. Yes, he is a little shiny. But I do feel that my support game has gotten better, and it's not an awful, awful mess. So if you're curious how these stack up size-wise, let's just grab a couple of people here. We'll grab some of the painted folks. It's totally dwarfy. Whoa! Please don't break. They actually had a bunch of dwarves in the Viking campaign as well, but I can't find them, and I know I painted up a bunch of them. So using Artisan Guild as a nice 3D printed benchmark human as to what you can expect here. He fits in quite nice. If you were going to go, obviously, for some of the previous campaigns that are more in the historical realm, I think you're going to be not super disappointed, but using a Victrix as a standard. I know there actually was a Roman campaign, mostly for scenery. And that's something that is worth mentioning, is there is a ton, and I mean a ton, of scenery included in these campaigns, and I haven't actually printed any. I really would like to. I'm going to nag my brother to get moving on that, or I'm going to have to buy myself a big PLA printer at some point too, I guess. Maybe if we ever get the stimulus money, since I'm rolling in all that Patreon cash, right? But honestly, the scenery is just as cool as the figures that you get, and I feel like, you know, it's about 20 euros, maybe 30 euros for everything, and considering you get piles of figures, stretch goal figures, and all that scenery, I feel like you really do get your money's worth. Let's grab a couple other figures just to give you guys an idea. Funny enough, these Conquest Nords don't look all that out of place if you wanted to take that route. They make some good raiders. What else do we got laying around here we can use as samples? It is all fantasy stuff. So far, they haven't done any sci-fi. There was a Pirates and Cthulhu in steampunk set that had some quite impressive boats, but I don't have any of the pirates printed. I thought I did, but I guess I don't. Anyway, if any of this stuff does tickle your fancy, by all means, do take a look at the link below. If you're catching this video after the fact, don't fret, because chances are a lot of this stuff will be available in future campaigns as well. So there's always that possibility. Grabbing some more fantasy style figures so you can see. One of the nice things, as always needs to be stated, is when you do have 3D printed figures, you can tweak them to your size specifications. So we've got a Frostgrave guy here, we've got a Wargames Atlantic Human as well from their Dark Age Irish line, and our good old-fashioned Witch Hunter friend here. So while the Lovecraft figures are a little bit larger and a little bit thicker, I mean, yeah, if you wanted to maybe drop them down to about 90-95% in terms of height level, I think they'd work pretty well at that point too. Grabbing a WizKids Human as well as a Perry Frenchman, because I mean, if you're going to have Vikings, you got to have them go siege on Paris, right? Only seems appropriate. So I mean, they're Vikings, they should be big, thick, hardy fellows, right? So I'm not too worried. The only thing I think that's really going to throw people off are the dwarves. I think if you're going to get these dwarves, you probably want to lower the print size down to maybe, I don't know, 75, 80? If you like your dwarves a little bit smaller. Me, I like them big and bulky, like my Dweghom guys. I mean, honestly, he'd probably fit right in with the Dweghom. But the Conquest stuff is quite large. So, something to keep in mind is you go through those figures. Like I said, we'll put a link down below. Do take a look, and hopefully there is going to be something that you like. With that said, this has been High Lord Tamberlane with Obscurities and Miniatures, saying thanks for watching, and we will see you back here soon. Bye-bye.